Welcome to a new episode of Review Remedy by ScoreDoc. I'm Ava Dawson, and today we're talking about something that can feel really sweet one minute and really stressful the next. Mom, look! My tooth is wiggling!
A tiny voice, a big moment. A parent kneels down and says, "That means the tooth fairy is coming soon."
And that's the version we all want, right? Giggles, a little excitement, maybe a tiny plastic treasure box for the tooth. Those simple family moments matter.
But sometimes that smile changes fast. A kid wakes up in the middle of the night, crying, holding their cheek, and suddenly everybody in the house is wide awake.
It could be a cavity that didn't seem obvious at first, maybe swollen gums, maybe sensitivity that a child just couldn't explain clearly. And for parents, that's where the emotional part kicks in.
Yeah, it's not just, "We need a dentist." It's also, "Did I miss something? Did we wait too long?" I've spent a lot of time around patient feedback data, and you see this pattern over and over. Families aren't only looking for treatment, they're looking for reassurance.
Exactly. Because for the child, it's fear of the unknown. Fear of the chair, the sounds, the tools, all of it. And for the parent, it's trying to stay calm while making a really important decision quickly.
That's why pediatric dentists matter so much. They're not simply treating teeth. They're helping children feel safe in a setting that could otherwise feel intimidating.
They're trained specifically to care for infants, children, and adolescents, and that makes a real difference. Pediatric dentistry is about preventive care, early diagnosis, treatment, and also helping families build healthy habits early. The environment matters. Communication matters. Consistency matters.
And early experiences matter too. A child's first few dental visits can shape how they feel about dental care for years. Good care now can influence comfort, cooperation, and long-term oral health habits.
So today, we're zooming in on Houston, Texas, one of the largest and fastest growing cities in the country, with a broad pediatric dental landscape. There are a lot of options, which is great, but also, let's be honest, a little overwhelming.
Totally. More choice is helpful until you're staring at dozens of listings and hundreds of reviews, trying to figure out what actually means something. Star ratings alone don't tell the whole story.
That's where ScoreDoc's review-based approach comes in. For this roundup, the rankings were based on measurable patient review data gathered from major review platforms used by consumers during healthcare searches.
And specifically for this report, the analysis looked at clinics across Houston and compared 53 pediatric dental clinics. The goal was not to guess, not to go by branding, not by who sounds fancy, just by the review signals patients are actually leaving behind.
Right. We're talking about overall ratings, total review volume, recent review activity, sentiment trends, and ScoreDoc reputation indicators over the last 24 months. That last part matters because recent reviews usually give a better picture of what families can expect now, not 3 or 4 years ago.
And one quick but important note. This kind of list is designed as a strong starting point. It reflects patient feedback patterns and service experience trends. It does not claim to measure clinical competence directly.
Yep, and I'm glad you said that. Reviews help parents understand communication, staff behavior, appointment flow, and overall satisfaction. They're useful, they're practical, but they're one piece of the decision.
So in this episode, we're giving Houston families a clean, review-based shortlist of pediatric dentist clinics that stood out in 2026.
And in the next chapter, we're naming all 5. Short, helpful, and confidence building. That's the mission today. All right, let's get into the list. Before Daniel names the 5 clinics, here's the quick framework. ScoreDoc analyzed patient feedback from major consumer review platforms, specifically Google, Yelp, and Facebook, and weighted the data based on factors people commonly use when choosing healthcare providers. So that includes the average score, the number of reviews, how recent those reviews are, and the sentiment expressed in written comments. In other words, not just how many stars, but What are families actually saying? And is that pattern consistent over time?
And based on that analysis, here are the 5 best-rated pediatric dentist clinics in Houston, Texas in 2026. Antoine Dental Center, Evergreen Pediatric Dentistry, Greenway Pediatric Dentistry, Kids Forever Pediatric Dentistry, and Knox Pediatric Dentistry.
Let's give a little context on why these names rose to the top. Antoine Dental Center showed steady patient engagement across platforms, with a 4.5 rating, 471 total reviews, 91 recent reviews, and positive sentiment at 89.2%.
That review volume really stands out. When you see hundreds of reviews and ongoing recent activity, it gives you a broader sample of patient experience. Not perfect, obviously, but meaningful.
Evergreen Pediatric Dentistry posted a 5.0 rating, 102 total reviews, 59 recent reviews, and 100% positive sentiment in the analysis window. The feedback reflected treatment experience, appointment flow, and the overall clinic environment.
Greenway Pediatric Dentistry came in with a 4.9 rating, 75 total reviews, 8 recent reviews, and 96% positive sentiment. Patient feedback highlighted care quality, family communication, and the overall clinic experience.
Kids Forever Pediatric Dentistry is another big one in terms of activity. 4.9 rating, 294 total reviews, 141 recent reviews, and 97.6% positive sentiment. That level of recent engagement can be really useful for parents who want a current snapshot.
And then Knox Pediatric Dentistry with a 5.0 rating, 166 total reviews, 67 recent reviews, and 100% positive sentiment. Reviews there highlighted pediatric care, communication with parents, and clinic interactions overall.
What I like about this list is that it reflects different strengths parents tend to care about. Some families look at total review volume because they want more data points. Others pay close attention to recent reviews because they want the freshest possible picture. And a lot of people really focus on communication, how the staff talks to children, how clearly things are explained, whether the whole visit feels calm and respectful.
Yeah, and there's no single perfect metric. I mean, if I had to say it simply, the point isn't to hand parents a final answer. It's to remove some of the chaos, narrow the field, give them 5 names that demonstrated consistent patient feedback patterns among 53 clinics evaluated in Houston.
And that can be a huge relief. Because when your child is uncomfortable, or you're just trying to be proactive, you don't want to start from zero. You want a credible place to begin.
Also, a quick reminder from the broader pediatric dentistry guidance here. Early visits matter. It's generally recommended that children see a pediatric dentist by their first birthday or when the first tooth appears. That helps with monitoring development, spotting concerns early, and making the dental office feel normal instead of scary.
That's such a good point. Sometimes the best dental visit is the one that happens before there's pain. Preventive care, familiar faces, a child-friendly setup. That can change the whole relationship a kid has with dental care.
So if you're in Houston and you're trying to choose with more confidence, this list is a practical starting place. Antoine Dental Center, Evergreen Pediatric Dentistry, Greenway Pediatric Dentistry, Kids Forever Pediatric Dentistry, and Knox Pediatric Dentistry.
Because every child deserves to smile without pain, and every parent deserves a little more peace of mind in the process.
If you want the detailed review insights and the full ScoreDoc breakdown, check out the full article.
Link is in the description. And that's our Houston Pediatric Dental Roundup for today.
Thanks for listening, Ava.
Always a pleasure, Daniel. Until next time, keep smiling.
Take care, everybody. Bye.